Yes, go live, please. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Ed Diaz with Mr. Scott Berry. I always forget. Scott Berry right there.
How you guys doing?
Good. So we wanted to welcome you to Kraft Music at the Sounds of Summer. I had an effect.
Synths of Summer.
Synths of Summer. Man, I should have wrote it down. The Synths of Summer, you know.
It's one of those awesome things. You get tongue-tied really easy, but it's really fun to say.
It is definitely fun to say. Synths of Summer. So we're going to have some fun here with Kraft. We're going to be going over the Jupiter-X. Let's go ahead and show your, Scott, show your Jupiter-X. That's what we had on the screen. And
boom.
Boom right there. It's a great synthesizer that we have going right now. The playback that Scott was doing at the beginning of the show right now was completely the Jupiter-X. So
All Jupiter, yeah.
That's cool. And you had it recorded in, I think, Logic. Isn't that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So all in Logic. Because remember, the Jupiter-X is an audio MIDI interface. Now, before we go further, I definitely want you guys to check out the Kraft website. We have a lot of great things here on Kraft. Make sure during the show you go check out Kraft's website. You can go ahead and enter for in the Synth of Summer, some weekly giveaway, some bonus items, and I believe also, aren't they giving away something super big here, I think?
Just a little. Just a little.
So make sure you go to craftmusic.com. Go and check them out. Click on these. Learn more about what they are giving away. Oh, what is it? It's a Jupiter-X giveaway. Wow, that is something pretty awesome right there. And also don't forget you can search Kraft's website and look at all the incredible bundles that they have available. Look at that. No interest, no payments. And that's on the Jupiter-X, Jupiter-Xm. A lot of great bundles there to get you.
Yeah, it's like, look at all the stuff that you get in some of those. The stand, the bag, the pedals, the cables, headphones. I mean, and if you don't see exactly what you want, contact them because they'll put together a custom bundle just for you. So definitely do that.
Definitely do that with Kraft Music and support our music stores that support us. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the Jupiter-X, Scott, and start talking about what is it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and bow out and let you talk about some of the cool things that we have available inside the Jupiter-X now. Here you go. Go for it, Scott.
Yeah, one of the things is the Jupiter-X just had a major update, which was 1.5. We'll go through that a little bit, but it did change the way the screen looks and some other things. But if you're new and are new to the Jupiter-X, just so that you know, one, it's got an iconic look. There's no denying what it looks like and what it's supposed to look like, and it is just an absolute beast as far as just looks, everything about it. It's built like a tank. You've got metal top, metal sides, metal bottom. It's got all the real-time controls, which has got to be the coolest thing, to be able to just go up and grab what you want. I mean, take a sound, do what you want with it, you know. I mean, we're used to having things like maybe cut off on board and stuff, but just some of the real-time controls and to be able to just start to move stuff around and start tweaking. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. I mean, it takes nothing.
Listen to how expressive that is. That's big. Right out of the box.
And then as far as like layering, and we'll go through this a little bit with the architecture, is I can easily bring up a next sound and decide what I want. Let's see. There we go. And then now it's layered. So it's really easy to just get in there and shape it and change it. I mean, you saw how quick it took me to layer. Let me just show you a close-up of the screen real quick. Now, this is part of 1.5. So when I just go to a scene, and I'm looking at a scene, so let me see if I can split this so you can at least see it. When I go to the scene button, this is what I get. It's telling me exactly what the scene name is. If I get into the parts, it tells me what's all in there. So you can have up to 4 parts or 4 tones plus a rhythm per scene. So I'll backtrack here with the architect a little bit. A scene is all of that you just saw, and it can actually have things that are part of the Arpeggio. We'll show demonstrations of that, but you can easily just click these buttons to change your scenes, or hold the scene button and find another area that you want to go to. So I could be like scene 15-1, right? And boom, now I'm in my new scene. So a lot of real-time controls, scenes. So you have 16 banks of 16, and then you've got 4 tones plus a rhythm per scene. So a lot of things. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's so easy to create and just sit down. It has that familiar feel to it. with just being able to grab the sliders or the knobs and change things around. You want to go through the model banks at all, Ed, or?
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, stop, decline.
Because that's the thing that sets the Jupiter-X apart. Not only do we have the configuration that we have, we also have individual model banks that make it up. The Jupiter-8, the Juno 106, the JX8P, the SH101, the XV5080, the RD piano, and then the Zencore engine and other things. I don't know if you want to go through any of that.
Yeah, let me bring you back up on the screen with me. So, absolutely. So, as you guys can see right away, we have a lot of great models and sounds in there. You're not really hurting for sounds, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Start going through the different model banks that are available in here. I'm just going to pull up a scene that has nothing, so we can just kind of go through the thing. All right, Scott, I'll go ahead and take it over, and we'll kind of go through some of these model banks that are available right now. All right, so now thank you, Scott, for showing that part. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of these iconic sound engines that are inside the Jupiter-X here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set for you here. There we go. All right, so I have an initialized scene, so it's very easy. You know, we can just go into press the model banks right here, and you see right there, it lets you know that I am in the Jupiter-8 screen, so model bank of that one. Really nice and easy to go in there. I can just start just going through sounds and picking sounds right away.
Yeah, let me I'm going to interject here. I'm sorry, Ed.
Go
real
for it.
quick, one of the cool things that's a new feature of the 1.5 is that if you hold the shift button and hit the model bank, it will ask you to go into a single tone, which is something that a lot of the customers have asked for, is like a single tone or a single play just to go through the individual sounds.
So say that one more time. Remember,
So hold shift and hit model bank. Screen should ask you, single setup. Are you sure? Absolutely.
Oh, let me try it again. That's no problem. Yes, I am sure. Oh, let me see. What am I doing wrong? Yep.
Yeah, you're hitting enter, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you should be in there.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's because of the different
You're in
parts.
the part. Yeah, you're in the part.
Parts. Okay, let me get out of there. There we go. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, because we were already selecting. All right, there we go. So we can see. Go ahead, Scott.
No. And then at that point, now you can just go through the Jupiter-8. You can go through the Juno 106, which is exactly what Ed's doing. I just wanted to bring that up because it's one of the new features.
Yeah, so this is great. So right now, currently, and I was going to go this start here, we're in the model bank, so I can go ahead and see what model bank that I want to go ahead and use. And so right now I'm in the Jupiter model bank, and so very easy to go through and choose different patches and different sounds. So you can easily go in here and choose whatever you want, and this is just the Jupiter. And you hear all of that. We can going, and if we wanted to, oh, here we got to show them the pads and the strings. Now, the great thing about the Jupiter-X is that we can actually come in here and start shaping the sound. So I can have something like this, maybe start adjusting cutoff. Maybe I want to go ahead and adjust maybe the release. You know, adjust resonance and with the cutoff. And we can turn that sound into something completely different very quickly just by grabbing it on the fly. So that's something that's real nice that we like to do in here. Another thing is we keep on going down. We can go through all the different sounds. And that's a great one right there. I'm going to go ahead and drop it an octave. Maybe if I want to, we'll go ahead and grab that cutoff. So right away we have that iconic sound in there. And then also within this, we can go inside the Jupiter-X and adjust the temperature and the age. So we can really bring out those subtleties of a vintage keyboard. Let's go on and look at a couple other sounds right here, you know, that we want. And what I remind people, if we want to go in further and you're like, well, you know, those aren't the real sounds, Ed. That's not the real sounds. Check this out. If I go ahead and scroll through, and here you go. When you see sounds that are in all caps like this, These are the original patches of the Jupiter-8. I'm not sure if I'm playing that right, but
but that's an iconic sound.
Yeah, so that's something that's real nice. We can actually go in here, and when we see it in all caps, those are the original sounds of that. So of this particular keyboard. Now, if we were to go in to choose maybe another one, now right here, if we go ahead, let me get out of here. We can go ahead and choose the Juno right here. So I just chose right there. I'm still in the scene. I went and chose this model bank, the Juno, and this is Juno 106, another iconic. You can just let that one hang.
Well, it's got that nice.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's moving. It's not stagnant. It's a moving sound. It's like, ooh, this is analog. That's what I hear when I go through it.
Yeah, and even this one kind of leads into you, like it tells you to do a drone. And even though we're having that drone, you can kind of hear that LFO kind of going. And if we want to, we can start adjusting things that we want to go ahead and have going. And just have it going right over there. Let's choose another one. Start having some more fun with these.
Yeah, those strings sound great.
Yeah, they're really good. Look at how huge that is. And right now, I'm just choosing the Juno, and I'm just choosing one sound. That's one sound. And then if I wanted to go ahead and put maybe that Jupiter sound, how hard is it, Scott? It's this hard.
It's a push of a button.
Push of a button. And I'll take out I'm going to go ahead and take out that Juno sound. Right, there it is. And then I'll bring in. Kicked in the aftertouch.
Yeah, Ed, I was going to say real quick, there's another cool thing. Go ahead and unlight the dual button real quick, on the left side of the screen. Yep. Hold shift and now hit dual. And what it should do is it should hard pan part 1 to the left and hard pan part 2 to the right.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
This might be hard for some of you to hear this. If you have some headphones or watch this on the replay, when I press the key, you hear your mind will be going crazy because you actually hear. That is crazy, Scott.
So the reason why they put that in there is that the Jupiter-8 had two outputs. You had the upper output and the lower output, which the way that keyboard was, it was the first to layer and split and all that other stuff, and it allowed you to plug those into two separate inputs onto a mixer. And a lot of people would pan one hard left and hard right, especially with string sounds, and that they would layer to give it more space than it just being a monophonic-ish sound going through. So
Absolutely.
Roland decided, hey, let's do this. It's just a quick thing. Shift, hit dual, boom, they automatically pan. It's just so cool.
It is really cool. So let's go ahead and that is something. We have some great stories from Mr. Kakahashi back in the day, the founder of Roland, talking about the Jupiters. But let's go ahead and check out some more model banks. I'm going to go ahead and turn off both of these parts because this one I had set for Jupiter-8 and this one's for the Juno 106. And this one, Scott, what is this one? This is...
What do you got there?
What is it?
What do you got there?
What do you got? Oh, let me bring this back up in the octave. And here's the nice thing. If you're ever not sure what you have, you can always go ahead and look, and it's a JX8P. Just to let you know, I just went out and hit Model Bank, and I can see exactly what I'm working with. So that's another nice thing. Another iconic synth from Roland.
It just throws you back. I mean, there's no question. You're like, I remember this. I had a JX8P or whatever, or I had a Jupiter or something. As soon as you start playing this, and as soon as you start moving stuff around, it comes back to you. And if you're new to it, it's very easy.
Yeah, so how cool is that? Dynamic, lush pad. And I just made a couple of quick changes, but it just made it just even more fun. And remember, if I wanted to, I can kick in maybe that Jupiter-8 with it.
Take the dual off. Hit the dual again. There you
go. Maybe I'll go ahead and put back. We'll go ahead and put back the Juno. How fun is that? Right away, we can just put them. Okay, let me take off that Juno, put back the JX-AP, and keep on looking. That's a fun thing that's about the Jupiter-X, that you can just really just explore sonically what's going on and have fun. And we have a bunch of things, a bunch of scenes already in here pre-made for you, but you can go in there and you can really go in there and experiment and just kind of have some fun.
Yeah, because like right now you're looking at them one at a time on the screen, but if you hit enter, you should have a list, correct?
That is correct. So we can pop them open this way, and we can see what's coming and what's behind us right there. So this is another nice way that we can do that.
And just a side note, the switches, Ed, can you point where switch 1 and switch 2 are?
Okay.
They're lit.
Right here. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. You can set these up, and you can program them very easy to actually go through each tone one by setting one to go up and one to go down instead of having to reach over to the knobs if you like. There's a lot of options and a lot of programmability to this keyboard. I almost didn't say that.
And that's actually something that I'll do on some of our other big synthesizers. Instead of grabbing, going up and down in the different tones or patches, if you whatever school you're from, I'll go ahead and, as Scott says, I will go ahead and hit Shift, and I will hit one of these buttons, the S1, 2, or 3, and I will assign it to do a multitude of things. And sometimes for me, so I can go through patches very quickly or tones very quickly, I'll adjust it so I can go up and down in the tones very fast. So that's another cool thing right there. Let me go ahead and get back out of here, and we will go back into the next one. So now we were doing the JX-8P. Now let's take another look at another iconic one, the SH-101 right here. And I'll make sure that I have that one on. For me, I don't know about you, Scott, but for me, this one was all about the lead and the bass.
Well, that's kind of what it was. I mean, there were no presets on the SH-101. It was set up so that whatever you had going on and where the sliders were at the time was the sound you got.
Now, here's something fun. Let me backtrack 1 minute, everybody. So let's say in that Juno, remember I said in the Jupiter-8, if you were to go and look around, at some point you're going to hear all caps. You're going to see all caps, not hear them. You're going to see all caps on the tones right here. And the Juno 106 is the same. At some point you're going to hear those original patches right in here. There they are. Oh, and I love doing this because this lets us go kind of back in time and see how things were. This was an electric piano. What was the year, Scott? About 1980? Was it 5, 84,
yeah,
85?
It's probably before that, yeah, but somewhere around there.
Yeah, so it's really kind of fun to see. This was an electric piano.
Yeah, you're still split to one side. Yeah.
Let me go ahead
hit Shift and should go back. There we go. That's it.
There we go. Yeah, this was an electric piano back in those days. And so it's really nice to kind of see where we've come. Oh, let me put that up. So you can see where we've come. So that's an original sound, an original patch.
Yeah, I remember this one on the 106, the steel drum, yep.
Oh, and this is another great thing, is some of these brasses that when we first heard these were...
Yeah.
They just blew you away. Now, the great thing is you could go in there, of course, and you could start editing them however you want, whether you want to do it at any of the synth levels, be it oscillator, filter, amp, or envelopes, you can go ahead and do that. And then now we have effects, which on a lot of these keyboards back then, we had limited to no effects.
Pretty much no effect. I mean, even just combining the two of them together, you had to play them at the same time unless they were MIDI. if they were MIDI capable, like the 106, the 8 was not. You had to go through a DCB converter to get that to work. But now you could layer, if you wanted to, on the Jupiter-X 4 Jupiter-8s, 4 Juno 106s, or all of them together, however you want to do it. So it's not a Jupiter 8 sound. It's a Jupiter 8 model that's going to act like the original. That's where the difference is. And it's done by the same makers that made the original. Again,
Absolutely.
Bam.
All right, so I'm just talking a little bit, but going back to the SH-101, let me go ahead and turn it up. A lot of great sounds, but one thing you're going to notice, this is not going to have the all caps of the original patches. And why, Scott?
Because there's no presets. It
There's
didn't
no-
have any memory. Yeah.
And of course, you can have. You know, and you kick something else like that. You put on like a little Arpeggiator or something like that. You could really have some great stuff going right there.
Well,
All right.
and the other thing, too, is that with the SH-101, it was mono,
Yep.
right? With the Jupiter-X, they went ahead and said, well, if you want to go poly, you can.
Yeah. So we have that right here right now. It's mono. But if you go ahead and turn it off, you can go ahead and have it poly if you want to. So a lot of great sounds there. So that's that. Let's go to the next one. Oh, here's one. We'll get into the rhythms here. Let me turn this off. There we go. So we see all the different drums as well that we have available in here. A lot of different drums, which we can totally use with our iArpeggio. We'll get into that in a second. I'll let Scott talk about that one. He does a great job with that one. But let's see. Let's take a look at some other model banks that I can go ahead and have in here. So we'll go ahead and bring this up. And before I go to that model bank, I don't want to go there yet. So we just checked out, of course, we have the new ZenCore, which gives you thousands and thousands of sounds that are completely compatible with our Roland Cloud. Let me take you a quick peek at that. Quick peek at Roland Cloud, and you can go here. We have various different subscriptions you can use, but also you can go ahead and take a look and say, you know what hardware do I have? What's available for that? So with your Jupiter-X or XM, if you select it, you have a ton of sounds available. Of course, the model expansion, which has a cost, but a lot of these, most of these are actually free. This is great, and this is all stuff that you can bring inside your Jupiter-X and also your Jupiter-Xm. So that's
so you can
all
expand
available.
it as you want and what works for you. Again, you customize it.
Yep, and so that's another great feature of this thing right here. Tell you what, let me show you what else we have going on, and because we could just talk about engines all the
Oh yeah, and
day.
you know what? This is probably another good time to bring it up. Please open another tab. Go to craftmusic.com. Enter for a possibility to win a free Jupiter-X. So don't miss out on that. If you spend over $249, you wind up with these awesome shirts that we're wearing.
Yep.
That Tracy at Kraft designed. They're definitely, they're nice material. They fit perfect. They're true to size. They're absolutely awesome. And again, don't forget to check out all the bundles that are sitting there. And if you don't see a bundle, especially on the Roland keyboards, if you don't see a bundle that's exactly what you want, like, hey, why didn't this come with headphones? Or I wish it had that. Please contact Kraft because they'll put together a custom bundle for you. So definitely go enter to win a Jupiter-X.
Absolutely. So don't forget to do that. Scott, before I go, I want to stay on our list, but can you go ahead and show us some iArpeggios? Because I know you really enjoy that.
Real quick, before I jump into that, let me show this. This is kind of where Ed was going. I'm going to go into the part section, so I've got my scene up here. Once I hit part, it will show me everything that's in it, which is really, really cool. So some of this is a combination of model bank, ZenCore, which is where we are getting XV. You can see this one here with the X and the V, the XV. And it's, as you were watching Ed go through and pushing these buttons, what he was doing is, these are the select buttons. I'm not trying to get too tutorial on you, but these are the selects. So this is how I'm picking which one. You can see it moving there on the screen. And these are the ones of how you're turning them on. and turning them off. So it's easy to move through them and layer them or whatever, but this is one of my favorite sounds, and I'm just going to show you real quick how you can just kind of build and do this live. So it's really fun and really cool to be able to just kind of go through there and turn parts on and turn parts off. So I just wanted to show that real quick because that adds on to what Ed was doing and how he was moving through and layering things.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. So let's just start with this one. I'm going to do the same thing in this one, and I'm just going to kind of give you a brief example of what the Arpeggiator can do, and I'll go through some other stuff. So what the Arpeggiator is it's kind of an audio accompaniment, but it's not. It's a little bit more organic, and it can change, and you can turn it off. Anyways, let me just show you an idea. I'll start with this little thing, and I'll kick it on, and then I won't play the whole thing. We'll just kind of get out of it so I can go through some other stuff. So I want to turn that one off. So basically what was going on is that when I turned it on, it added the drums, it added this rhythm that's in there, and it can change depending on how you play. So if I kind of play quickly, and then if I play mellow, it mellows back down. So that's kind of what it does. It moves, it's organic, it kind of goes with you, it does different things. So that's one quick example. The other one that I'll probably show is this one, where I've got the hold feature off. And the reason why I do that is that when I let go, it stops. You can kind of control the tempo a little bit. Right, instead of it being, I can almost play in a different time, if you will. But this is another fun thing to try. Right, and then there's something else I can show you real quick with the part button. When this starts to go yellow, you can get into what's called part lock, and it should say panel switch lock. At this point, I'm going to control what you're hearing with the Arpeggiator. So I have a part turned off, and when I turn this on, it will all of a sudden kick in and you'll hear it. So we'll take it from where we were. So you can turn parts on and off that interact with the Arpeggiator too. Again, it's just, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can do. Ed, is there anything else you wanted to go through on that?
No, on that one, no, but I'm going to go ahead and bring you out of this solo layer and bring me back in. And I wanted to talk about the model expansion that's available for the Jupiter-X. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my screen and take you out Take you out, Scott. Boom. Oh. Okay, cool. We got Scott taken out for a second there. So right here, if we go ahead and look a little bit up in there, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the JD800 expansion that's in here. So that is something that's really great. We love the JD. Of course, I went ahead and moved too far.
Now, this is an expansion. This is a paid expansion, but man, is it worth it?
It's totally worth it. So let me go ahead and let's get into the model bank so you guys can see, and I'll make sure that that one is lit up so we can just go completely through it. So look at this. There's a vocoder in here. There's a RD piano available inside here. We don't have the time, but there is also a full XV engine in here. So you got a lot of the XV5080, which was an iconic sound module right there. So keyboard module that's in here as well. So we're going to go to this JD800, which was an excellent keyboard back in its day. I think it was in 97. I believe that was the heyday for that one. And, you know, a lot of these sounds are still usable today. Let me go into another scene, and we'll go ahead and just initialize scene right here, and we'll go into that model bank. There we go. It's already in there. Good. So let's go ahead and check out some of these right away. Let's see, model bank right there, and we'll have that going, and we can go ahead and start going through it. Okay, so good. Oh, am I messing up? Yes, I am. Let's see here. Okay.
It's all part of the fun, though.
It is part of the fun. It is definitely part of the fun that, you know, you just go in there and just kind of start having fun with this guy. But let's see here. There it is, and cool. And so we'll start going through this sound right here. So let's go ahead and where are you? Let me see. There we go. Okay, there we go. I was messing up, starting to freak out. Oh my God. All right, so one thing I noticed about this particular one is that there are a lot of sounds in here that are completely usable to this day. And back in when the JD800 was around, I think you got 64 sounds, presets back in those days. And then you could go ahead and get the little Roland, I don't even remember what the memory card was. I think it was 8 bits.
It was like the media cards for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and take a listen to some of these sounds that are included with the JD800 model expansion. You know, that one's fun, but I like some of these other ones. Listen to that. It's huge, and we not even added any other parts to it. You're only hearing that part. You imagine if you put that with a Juno or a Jupiter or some of the other sounds, huge, right out of the box. So that one's great right there.
And it's funny that you mentioned 64 sounds because, yeah, that was back then. Now the Jupiter-X has over 4,000 on board.
Plus you can go ahead and get more from Roland Cloud as well. Mm-hmm. Here's another one, great crystal EPs. You know, you can use it. You know, if you're a part of a band, a wedding band like our friend Mark, you know.
Well, the whole thing is that it's not just the analog models that you want. It's so much more. And playing a classic sound like that, yeah.
Oh, just like I said, right away.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right away, you can put this to work. That's what I love about this particular one. This one's just fun. So right away. Right away, put it to work. Love it. Let's go ahead and check out. Now, this probably has to be one of our most favorite electric guitar emulations out there. You know, there's a lot of them, and we do. I think we do them pretty well. But something about this one, Scott, is It's just you're going to overuse it. I'm just telling you. I'm just going to tell you.
Here, I'll lay down a bed for you.
Lay down a bed.
There you go.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's do a. Man.
Awesome sound.
If this makes the guitar player mad, then you're doing your job. This is great. I love that sound. That's definitely, and that's worth the price of admission right there for me. That's good. Let's take a look at some other sounds because I'll stay on it all night. Of course, Fantasia 90s is also another one. You know. Let it ring out. You can hear all that.
I'm totally waiting for you to sing.
Yeah. I only sing with the vocoder.
Which this can do, by the way.
So cool. So right away, that's another one that you can put to work. That's one thing you're going to find about this one. Of course, some of the effect. Yeah.
Well, it was the D50 on steroids. It took it up, is what it did, and you can hear that. You know, that sound. It's awesome.
Absolutely, and of course, here's another. And it's the funny thing about this one. I think everybody remembers the JD800, but you don't remember it until you start playing some of these iconic sounds, and you realize, you know, I'm going to put this guy to work right away. Yeah. Oh, this would totally be the. You could totally put that one right to work, and that's what I'm. So many. Oh, here you go. That's all you got to play. That's all you got to play. Totally worth it. Another great pad.
It's got that nice breath.
It's totally in
air.
there. And there's a hope. Oh, now this one's fun too. Like we were having a.
Careful there.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Hey. Or here, so we don't get copyright. We can go. Nuts. Play to minor. No one will even know.
Well, what's so cool about this is just going through it is that it's like, hey, bro, check this out. You know, let's go through these sounds, and I'm getting lost. I'm forgetting that I have to talk.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just watching you, and I'm like, oh, I'm having fun here. You know, it's like me trying it out. So, anyways, I just thought I'd share.
Well, that's the great thing on these particular patches. As soon as you hear them, you're like, it's every patch, every tone.
It comes back.
You know, it's like, hey, you remember me? So many of them. it just
awesome.
asks you, and there's a bunch of them. That's the unfortunate thing right now. We don't have the time, but I encourage you, if you want a JD 800, they're very hard to find right now. This is totally worth it. Look at that Fusion solo.
Great. Yeah, and one of you guys out there could win this. You could actually win this whole keyboard. Think about that.
Yeah, and right now I'm just kind of quickly going through sounds because we just don't have the time. But let's go a different key.
I just wrote my next horror flick.
Huh?
Yeah, my next horror theme. That's perfect for my soundtrack.
Another great brass.
It's such a full sound. It's so full.
We're just using one. Of course, we get into, like I said, we can't go through all of them. We don't have the time, but I just want you to know there's a bunch of them. So we gave you, not only did Roland give you 64 of these great sounds that are already, just as soon as you play them, you're just like, oh, I remember you, But if we go further, they gave you, I think it's 128. So there's more.
Yeah, they doubled it.
They doubled it.
So there's 64 brand new sounds.
And then, of course, don't forget, with the Jupiter-X, we do have the ability to go in here and shape everything however we want it, and then we can save it. And then, plus, we can create a scene and go ahead and combine it maybe with some of the other models that are inside
that's
here.
Perfect. Here, if you want to swap back over.
Okay, go ahead. I'll switch it to you.
Yeah. So one of the things that's available from Roland Cloud that's absolutely free is the Jupiter-X editor. So this will help you. It's doing this because I've had it connected the whole time as I'm bouncing around with anything. But anyways, this will show you and go through each scene that you have, show you what's in it and what you can control or change the settings. So it's kind of like an assist. If I pick something like, let's see if I go, let me pick another scene here. I'll go 1, and it should update. Boom, there it goes. And it shows me everything that's in here. And of course, it's color coded. Orange for Jupiter 8, red for Juno 106, so on and so forth. But if I really wanted to get into and maybe change a sound, the analog stuff's pretty simple. You can just grab the sliders on the keyboard or whatever. But if I wanted to get in there and edit it, I could take something and go to the editor and actually continue to, this is for the scene, I can continue to shape things or change stuff around without having to go through the menus that are on the keyboard. If I go back to the scene build and I pick something like the Juno 106, I go to the editor. It's going to ask me to write it. I'll go ahead and temporarily write it. And then I'm looking at this. And if I grab any of these sliders on board, it should update if I was in the right patch. There it goes. Boom. You can see it change. So this is me actually grabbing controls. I'll try and split it real quick. Controls, and you can see that it's changing as it's going. It's updating through this. The big benefit, honestly, to me, is if you have anything or want to move sounds around or find things quickly, you can grab a part, and then you can come over here on the side column and go through the presets or the different model banks. So here they are. So part 1 doesn't have to be a Jupiter 8. It could be anything. If I go into preset A, for instance, I can pick analog atmosphere. It's in there. If I want to change things in the scene that I'd have to go through the menus, I can go through here. If I want to edit this sound in the editor, I just grab it, I temporarily write it, boom, I come in, and once the editor opens, I'm doing so many different things, I can then edit it from there and not have to go through all the screens. Let's try that one more time. I'll grab that guy, I'll go and edit. There it is. So now I can see all the pages because this is a Zencore sound, so there's going to be a lot more to it. I can go through all the different pages through the editor versus going through the menu, and it's updating. I'm doing 13 different things. So anyways, I wanted to at least show you guys that, and Pick a button. There we go. Just show you guys that the editor is another thing that can help you if you want to get really, really deep into it and get off of the hands-on. You want to get through the menu stuff. It's free. Jupiter-X editor, totally free. Definitely check it out and download it if you have a Jupiter-X or Jupiter-Xm.
And another thing we're going to show, since, so you're showing me that the Jupiter-X and the Jupiter-Xm will go ahead and work with the computers, essentially what you're telling me.
Absolutely. It's just USB connected and then going through. So if I back out of this real quick, let's see, discard, I'm here. You just have to select the Jupiter-X as the input MIDI and input out or something like that. Hit editor and it should open up and then boom, you're connected and it will update as you go. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Now, if that's the case, then I bet you this Jupiter-X and Jupiter-Xm will work with a DAW. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So I have Ableton Live hooked up. Very easy to hook up this keyboard to there. So right now, all I have to do in Ableton Live, and I just go to Roland and get the drivers that I need, so that way they know how to talk. But I'll go into Ableton Live right here, and all I have to do is select the Jupiter-X as the audio input device and the Jupiter-X as the audio output device. I can further go in there thanks to Ableton Live. I can go in here and label my inputs. So check this out. I can have mix, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I can have them all labeled, and even the rhythm I can record separately. And we're going to do that in just a second. So I can record the entire scene and as all together as a mix, but I can also turn on individual inputs there as well. And also I have multiple outputs that I haven't labeled yet, but we have multiple outputs. So let's say in this example, I'll go ahead and I can record MIDI, but I'm going to go ahead and record some audio very quick. Let's just record a little bit of audio. I'm going to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and record the mix that I'm getting. Let's record part 1. Let's record part 2 and part 3. I'm not even sure what we're getting here. And then we'll go ahead and I have it labeled as rhythm. So I think I'm pretty much set to go, right, Scott? I think we're set. So all I have to do is maybe come in here, turn on to have them recorded. And let's see what's going on first. Let me go ahead and have something going. So right there, you can see I have different things jumping. So we'll have it going. Let me turn down the Jupiter for a second. And you can see right there the different parts that are reacting. So mix is reacting, and 3 and 4, which is part 1, which is where that bass is, and my Arpeggiator is reacting on 11 and 12. And then you see the individuals. If we wanted to record them as mono individuals, we can totally do that. So I think we are set, so I'm going to record just these guys right there. Let me stop it for a second.
Yeah, I get into that.
I know that one's actually a lot of fun to play. So let's go ahead and get this ready to record. I think we are about ready.
And again, guys, this will work on any DAW. Ed's just using Ableton. This would work on Logic. This would work on Cakewalk, Cubit, anything. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we are ready. Let me just go ahead and check real quick my Ableton stuff. I don't need an account in. We're going to just let it go. And all right, let's go ahead and get ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. Oops, let's go ahead. We have it. Drop it back at one more second here at the beginning. There we go. Here we go. Let's record. So Ableton is running. Let's go ahead and record the Jupiter right here. And I think we are set. All right, just resetting my stuff. Here we go. I guess my resonance. Oh, Beverly Hills Cop, change the key. All right, here we go. All right, so then we have that.
I was going to say that, man.
recording.
That's totally Beverly Hills Cop 15.
Yeah, that's Beverly Hills Cop. It's right in there. All right, so we have it recorded. Let's go ahead and just play it back now. So I'll just go ahead and back it up and just trim it up. Let's go ahead and start right here. That's fine. And play it. There it is. It's playing back audio. Now let's go ahead and start doing some soloing. So right now it's only playing that mix, which is the mix of everything there. Now let's solo again, this part. That's great. That's just the bass. We only solo the bass, and look, here we have the filtering going on right there. This is totally cool. And I'm doing it as audio, but we also could have done it as MIDI as well. Now let's go ahead and separate the drums. And don't forget, now that we have it inside this DAW, we can go in here and adjust our gain staging and then really have it thump.
That's where it got gnarly.
Huh?
It got all crazy right there.
Yeah, and then I think we're pretty much set. Go ahead and unsolo everybody. So how cool is that just with the USB cable, one cable, we're able to record the entire keyboard. And so remember that first one over here, this guy, move it over here. This guy was the entire mix. That was just you just playing, and then each track. And I only did 2 tracks, but we could have done all of the 5 parts of the Jupiter could have had their own separate track, in there. So that is super duper powerful. I just wanted to show you guys that because that is something we don't want to forget. Because
you have the option. You can capture what you're hearing, or you can go back in and change it. You can record MIDI at the same time too, and swap things or layer things with other plug outs or whatever you want to do. The biggest thing is the flexibility. You can do it however you want. You're not stuck to, oh no, you can only do mix 1 and 2. That's it. You have the options to track everything separate, which is so cool.
And Scott, is this only the Jupiter-X that does this?
No. This is becoming a Roland trend.
It's a Roland trend. But my point is the Jupiter-Xm also does this.
Man.
Also does this.
And for any confusion, the Jupiter-Xm and the Jupiter-X are really no different. The XM, almost think of it as a desktop module with a slim keyboard design on it.
Yes.
It's portable. It's very easy to move around, take with you on travel or whatever. But the engines and the guts inside, it's all the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
So super quick, I'll be going on vacation next week, and so I was like, what am I going to take with me? I have to take something, and I thought, well, I'll take a MIDI keyboard, I'll take a MIDI controller, but then I was like, I'm just going to take the Jupiter-Xm because I can go ahead and use the software if I wanted to go ahead and do some programming for some new scenes, or if I want to go ahead and do some recording and use all of those sounds and that JD800 model, I can do that, as well as I can trigger different software synths from Zencore or other manufacturers. I can trigger it all, and then my Jupiter-Xm is an audio MIDI interface complete with an audio input in the back. So if I were to take a microphone, Scott's like, go ahead.
And if you wanted to, whether if it's the Jupiter-X or the XM, you have built-in speakers. So, okay, there's one if you want to just play around and not have to hook everything up.
That's true.
The other thing, too, is the headphone ports are like in the front and the back. So, depending on what you're doing. So, just those 2 things alone is bonus.
It's total bonus, and it's totally usable, and that's something that's wonderful about both of them. So, if you want to find out more information about either of these keyboards, let me go ahead.
Go to Ableton. No.
Yeah, go to Ableton. They have it. They have it. Okay, go to craftmusic.com. Craftmusic.com. Right now we're having the Synths of Summer sale. So that's kind of having that fun. You're doing weekly giveaways, bonus items, and more. You can go ahead and click on the link to learn more. And don't forget, boom, Jupiter-X giveaway. This is a great value.
Big one.
That's a big one right there. That's totally cool. And then also don't forget that you can go to Kraft Music once you go and choose, look at some of these keyboards. They have some great bundles available for you. So if you're new to synthesizers and you're not sure what you should buy or what do I need with it, it's so confusing, you can talk to the different salespersons at Crafts, and they'll have some bonus for you. So if you're brand new, here's a whole great package to get you going with all the cables and all the stuff. If you already have keyboards, you're like, I just need a keyboard in a bag. Definitely get a bag or a case. Protect that investment, but that's all available for you at craftmusic.com. So just as added bonus. And another added bonus from Roland, because we're all about supporting our users out there, you can go to YouTube University, as I like to call it, YouTube University, and you can go ahead and go to Roland Product Support on YouTube. And if you take a look at the videos that we have available, we have a ton, literally hundreds and hundreds of videos. I'm not sure if it's thousands yet. Might be getting there, but I know it's hundreds and hundreds of videos. And if this looks like, this is just so much. And where do I find the Jupiter-X or XM? Well, if you go to the playlist tab inside the YouTube Roland Product Support, and if you look, we have them in orange. If I want to, I can hit the full playlist right here, and we can go ahead and learn the Jupiter-X from the beginnings into the more advanced topics. That's great. And if I were to go ahead and click on one of these, let's go ahead and click on one there. Turn them down. Get a real nice, pretty right there, and you get this handsome man right there talking to you how to go ahead and do it. And just like in a webinar here, we will show you exactly what to do with the screens and everything. So
it's just the added support. So if it's something that for some reason it looks like, ooh, that's a lot of keyboard, we're here to support you, and we're here to help you through it. And you can even contact us on social media and things. Whatever we can do to help, we're here.
Yeah, so... that's pretty much all we have for you. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll stay on for a minute. And then also you can contact your Kraft salespersons at craftmusic.com, and they'll help you. And then also don't forget to reach out to us on YouTube at Roland Product Support. And there's also other great Facebooks, groups that deal exclusively with the Roland Phantom Roland Jupiter-X and Jupiter-Xm. You know where my mind has been. I'm so sorry.
And don't forget, if you spend $249 or more at Kraft, you get this awesome T-shirt. They'll actually give it to you for free. Don't forget to check out the bundles and enter to win. I'll just play us out, and you can just let us go. At that point, I'll do the last track. Again, everything you're going to hear is Jupiter-X. I just have it condensed, and I'll just play a lead over it. So take care, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you soon.
Next time. All right. Thank you, guys.